What's a good word, everyone? It's your boy DKB here. I just want to say thanks for all the support. The channel's been steadily growing, and the number you see below, you can drop a text, shoot a voicemail, any ideas, topics, collabs, etc. you guys want to see. I'll include them in future videos and live streams, and I'll catch you again. Be easy. What's a good word, Jets fans? It's your boy DKB here, and let's talk Justin Fields, but specifically coming off of these joint practices, some shots coming out of New York and the Giants where edge rusher Kayvon Thibodeaux has some intriguing things to say. And the articles drew me in as much as I thought this was really just Justin Fields slander. I think objectively speaking, it's not as terrible as what many people seem, although still noteworthy, right? So let's get into the specifics. The piece that's going to get pulled out a lot says Fields has spent so much time running and scrambling away, and this is on the heels of both of the joint practices being completed and reporters asking what their evaluation of Justin Fields was to Kayvon Thibodeaux. That's the piece that's going to draw everybody in from an article or headline standpoint, but the totality of the context of what he said is, it's tough for quarterbacks right now, especially in practice, especially for us. We got guys like me, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Chauncey Golston, Nacho, aka Raheem Nunez-Roquez. Fields was under a bit of pressure, so I can't really give you a full analysis on what I think of him as a quarterback because he did have to run and scramble and do a lot of things. So yeah, you guys have to probably take a look at that on your own. Now, when I look at this, I want to say that Kayvon Thibodeaux is a guy that seems to have kind of this monotone, dry sarcasm a bit, if you will, just from a few of the early press conferences that I checked out when we ended up picking up Jermaine Johnson and the Giants ended up picking up Kayvon, right? I wanted to see kind of what the discrepancy or disparity between the two would be from like a personality, media standpoint, and then of course kind of what would be happening from an on-field product perspective. But when you look at this, he's not wrong, right? I think there's a fair amount of the day for both of the reports where you heard mention that, Justin Fields was being sacked multitude of times. Other times there was a ton of pressure. And on the times where he was able to get a pass off, it was very streaky, right? There was either a string of completions or there was a string of incompletions, sometimes 3 to 5 times at 3 to 5 passes at a clip. And then if not, he was running for his life, right? And hopefully you'd like to say that those were big chunk gains and stuff like that. But I can't fault Kayvon for saying there may not have been much quarterback play going on, right? It's not like the teams, keep in mind the way it was structured, it's not like they were together the whole time. The Jets and the Giants were both on separate fields at certain periods, running their individual drills, running their team drills, 7-on-7s, all that kind of stuff. And then they were coming together for a collective unit. But I would imagine it was maybe a third of the practice time spent actually being together. And of that amount of time, from Kayvon Thibodeaux's eyes, I could see where maybe he's just seeing constant pressure, constant sacks, constant running out of Justin Fields, and something that we realistically should expect. Now, with that, I will say there's been a decent amount of reports also out about how the offensive line was able to stonewall a lot of these guys. And while Kayvon Thibodeaux had his moments, I don't think he was necessarily the primary guy just out there decimating or doing a ton of damage to the offensive line, right? It was mainly Abdul Carter that I've seen in a lot of reports, Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, and then it was Kayvon Thibodeaux sprinkled in. So I don't have anything disparaging to say about Kayvon in and of itself, but it seems like maybe, again, it's just kind of tunnel vision in terms of how he's seeing things happen out there for himself. And we'll see what happens once we get into game day, right? It'll be a bulletin board material for the New York Jets, I'm sure, not only from an offensive line perspective, but hopefully even the coaching staff. Maybe Tanner Engstrand is looking to be able to dial up some things and have Justin Fields have a successful outing through the air more so. And I think that's what everybody would love to see. We know what he can do on the ground, but it's ultimately going to be on how they play. For one, can we get enough time to even get these passes off? And two, will they be looking to play, a ton of off coverage or zone or these fire zone concepts, right? And back up on the sticks to try to keep everything underneath and then let me yak. We'll see. But I'm excited. Again, I think a lot of this a lot of this back and forth talking, if you will, which isn't back and forth, is literally just coming from the Giants. But any of this stuff that can give you a little additional ounce of inspiration, you hear about it all the time. I think it'll just make the game that much more fun. But we can't forget, Giants, I feel like this is what I recall seeing. The Giants haven't beaten us in the last 14 years, which sounds a little bit rich, and I haven't fact-checked this, at least during the time of making this video. But if so, I would be quiet if I was wearing blue and white, right? But we'll see what happens here. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. What are you looking forward to with the game? Maybe I'll jump into a live stream Friday, or I guess today by the time you guys are seeing this, or maybe Saturday. But let me know what you think. Is Kayvon Thibodeaux overblowing this? Is he a non-factor? Is this really nonsensical, or does he have some legit points, even if it shouldn't necessarily be coming from him? And I'll catch you guys again. Peace.